All right, welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a cheap spray booth for Airbrush. And we're going to use some simple materials like a cardboard box, some duct tape, a filter. You can get those at a hardware store. They're used for air conditioners and many other things. There's lots of kinds to choose from, and this is just a plastic bag, a nice thick plastic bag that came with some computer equipment. Get a nice quality thick bag that you can use and an X-Acto knife. And I'm using a shop vac to make my spray booth. It's good to have a shop vac that has a high amount of horsepower. The more air it sucks out, the more it's going to help you out. You can also use a dust collector, specifically a paddle wheel dust collector. That will suck out even more air and cost similar to a high-end shop vac. Your shop vac will come with a tube that it uses to suck up things, but it may not come with a tube to push the air out. And if that's the case, you can go to the hardware store and find a tube that fits your shop vac and maybe some other things that you might need to put on there so it'll fit into the out hole, because you will need a place to direct your air out, and mine is going to go out the window. Okay, so the first thing to do is with your duct tape, you need to close all the air holes in your box. A pair of scissors is very useful to cut the duct tape. You want to go over all the edges, any holes there might be in the box. Make sure to get it all so no air is going to escape into your studio, and it's all going to get sucked out the window away from you. So take some time to cover up all the holes in your box. Now the size box that I'm working with is good for small airbrush projects, but if you are painting large canvases, you might go with a bigger box. Of course, the bigger your box, the more power you're going to need to suck that air out. Okay, so we've taped up all the holes in the box. Yay! Now I am cutting up my filter. This is an air conditioner filter that I've got, very inexpensive, but there are many kinds of filters. It's good to do some experiments with different filters to see which one will work best for your purposes. Some are thicker, some are thinner, some are more expensive, some are cheaper. I'm mounting my filter on the back of the box. I'm cutting a hole that's smaller than the filter area, and I'm going to put my vacuum tube right behind this hole. And the reason to use a filter is so that your shop vac or your dust collector or whatever you're using to suck the air out does not get clogged up, does not hurt the motor. So that filter is going to protect our equipment. But the thicker your filter, the less suck you'll get, because it'll be in the way. This is one way. This is the simplest way to do it, which is to tape a cheap air conditioner filter on the back of your box. But I'm going to show you some other options towards the end of this video, and think about what you would like to do. So this is the cheapest and easiest way. Just tape that filter on the back of the box, and then we're going to take our bag and we're going to carefully tape that bag onto the box. Now the reason we're doing this is to prevent any escaping air from our vacuum. And this will give us a nice way to connect our vacuum or our dust collector to our cardboard box spray booth. So I am taping that bag on real good with duct tape. Lots of layers to make sure it doesn't come off and no air is going to leak anywhere. And once I've got that taped on, I cut a hole in the top, and that's where my hose that sucks the air is going to go. And I just wrap some duct tape around that to make sure it's held in place right in front of that hole. And there we go. Now from time to time you're going to need to replace that filter. And it's kind of a pain to take this all apart. But luckily duct tape will peel off without, for the most part, damaging your stuff. So you can replace it. And there's an easier way to do this as well. All right, we finished our homemade spray booth, and I want to draw your attention to a few things. First of all, this system is for airbrush. It is not for spray paint. for your safety, you should not be breathing any paint. You should be breathing the paint dust from your airbrush, and you especially should not be breathing the vapors and the solvents and the paint dust from your spray cans. With this system, we have a motor running. Our shop vac is running. We probably have our compressor going, and we may have some fans or something. And spray paint vapor is explosive. And if you are painting indoors with motors running, you could get an explosion, and that would be not good at all. So use this system for acrylic, water-based airbrush painting, doing small works of painting, okay? The most important thing about this is the horsepower of your shop vac. You want a shop vac that has, at the bare minimum, 3 horsepower, but that's a minimum. If you can get 4, 5, 6, I don't know if they come in more, I haven't seen, but the more it sucks, the better it is. And you want it to suck really hard, because you want it to suck all your paint out the window and away from your beautiful lungs and your beautiful, healthy body, okay? So be real careful, get a really sucky vacuum with a lot of horsepower and suck that paint away from you. Now, the filter is really important because paint dust of any type is going to gum up your vacuum. So make sure you use that filter. Now you can get just an air conditioner filter really cheap at Home Depot and cut them up. So there's no problem with buying filters. They're not that expensive. One of the nice things about duct tape, among many, is that you can peel it off to change your filter. So anything you want to change, that tape it's not gonna destroy your box. You can peel it off and reapply it. It's kind of a pain with the duct tape, but hey, this is cheaper. You didn't spend $1,000 on a spray booth, so we'll deal with duct tape. Duct tape is way cool anyway. Let's see what else. So I've got my wood in here, and this is what I'm going to paint my airbrush painting on. All my paint dust is going to be enclosed in this area and get sucked out the window. So your shop vac needs a place to let the air out. Mine is going out the window through a dryer vent, but there are probably a number of different solutions depending on your situation. If you've got an open door, just run it through the open door, you know. If you've got a closet, you can put your shop vac in the closet so you don't have to listen to it. That would be nice. I don't have a closet, unfortunately, but I'd rather breathe clean air. Maybe I'll get a quiet shop vac. All right, so stay safe, don't breathe paint, and enjoy yourself. Paint some cool stuff. So this is a dust collector that a friend lent me. It's a paddle wheel dust collector. This is actually a Grizzly brand dust collector, and it will suck the air out much stronger than even a really high-end shop vac, and it's only slightly more expensive. And as you can see, it's going out my window. There is the place where the air is being sucked, and I have created a new kind of filter. I've taken off the filter on the back of the box, and I taped a box over the place where the air is getting sucked, and I cut a hole in it, and I put a different kind of filter on. Now this is a much thinner filter, so I'm getting a lot more airflow with this new setup idea. It's a little more complicated, but it's worth your time to find a filter that really works, even if it's a little more expensive, and place it a few inches in front of where the air is being sucked. Now I've made some other mods as well. I've opened up my box by taping the wings of my box open. I taped some triangular things that I had around into the box to make sure no air escaped, but yet all the flaps of the box were open, so you can improvise with whatever you have around the house with this. And then because I'm filming, I need a lot of light on top of where I'm painting, so I cut out the whole top of that box and I put in some saran wrap, and now the light is going in and it's a nice illuminated space. Now, making this box out of cardboard was actually a really great way for me to understand exactly what I need, so that when I want to make a better quality spray booth, say out of wood and lucite and a dust collector of my own that I'm going to buy, well, now I know exactly what to do. So I hope that you also learn some things that you can experiment with and figure out how to meet whatever your exact needs are. Again, this is a booth meant for painting with your airbrush. Don't use this for spray paint, please. For airbrush painting, this will work great. I hope you've enjoyed this and that you give it a try, and let me know how yours turned out. Ciao.